Defenders episode 4. Not as good as episode 3, maybe? I don't know. Not as high highs as episode 3, but also possibly not as low lows. Still suffering from a similar problem that they can't really get rid of, which is that they think that spending a lot of time on the villains is a good idea, which it is not. They seem to have this misconception that the villains are interesting and compelling and relatable, and they're unfortunately at real risk of becoming what I was afraid they'd become, which is low rent Ra's al Ghul, basically. Again, with the spoilers, not spoilers, the villain is the Hand. That's not a spoiler, so it's just established, thoroughly established in the media and everything, in the trailers. So, but that's the thing, the Hand from the comics has elements of being, a poor man's Ra's al Ghul, but also has the potential to be so much more than that. And that's so far what they're thoroughly at risk of becoming. Just basically a poor man's Ra's al Ghul from Batman. And they spend a lot of time on that. They spend an uncomfortable amount of time on that. But they also spend a fair amount of time. This felt like a really long episode. I'm not sure how long it was, but it felt like, an hour. I don't know. Let's take a look here. It was, I don't know how long it was. It was, 45 minutes. It was only 45 minutes. That's surprising to me. Was it 45 minutes after the opening credits? I don't know. No, I guess it was only 45. That's weird. It felt a lot longer. Felt like an hour-long episode, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if that means it feels like I was getting a lot of content, or if that means that things felt like they were moving too slowly. I could go either way on that, depending on what scene it was. So it's still a very mixed series. It does a lot of things that it feels like it has to do, rather than what is logical. There's a lot of where's this person's loyalty? Can this person be corrupted or changed or have doubts? Or can there be, weakness sown throughout the group? I don't know. It seems like a thing that they very much felt like they had to do. It was like a mandate on a checklist. Like, here's where the group strife and tension comes in. And it didn't feel all that natural, and I think the show knows it didn't feel all that natural, because it didn't feel like feel like, at least some of the things I've set up so far, didn't feel like they took that long to resolve, and didn't feel like the show really had much invested in resolving them. It's just like, oh, that person's angry, and now they're not angry, and that's it. There was no conflict there. There was nothing real. It was just something we felt we had to do to get from point A to point B. So, and it's not always terrible, It's not all. It's some of it's even stuff that they feel like they had to do, mandatory on the checklist or whatever. Some of it's okay. And again, there are strong moments, and another strong ending to the episode. I thought really, in particular, the last couple episodes, Finn Jones, who plays Danny Rand, is really starting to get to show. There's a lot of criticism about the character being bland in the Iron Fist, or his acting not being good. A lot of people had, it's kind of a mixture. There was was it the writing? Was it the character? Was it the acting? And there was a lot of doubts about that from Iron Fist. And the last couple episodes, I think he's gotten to show a lot of strengths, a lot of growing more, getting more comfortable with the character, and really, coming up to the same level as a Mike Colter or Kristen Ritter, things like that. Charlie Cox is always fantastic, so I don't know, but they're all good, and Finn Jones is good too. I always thought people were too hard on him in Iron Fist and too hard on Iron Fist in general, but But now I don't, but I admit, as much as I thought they were too hard, I admit that he and it was the weakest of the four, on a certain level. And I think he's, the last couple of episodes really proven that he's come up, to the same level, at least him personally with the acting and his performance, which really helps a lot. So hopefully moving forward, there'll be more strengths like that, Hopefully we'll get more of, I think it's proceeding kind of the way I expected it to proceed, with a lot of it's really a lot of time on the villains and not as much on the heroes, which are the good moments with the heroes. And I hope there are more moments. I hope there are more good moments with the heroes, and I hope they're longer and better, and hopefully the way this episode ended, it kind of seemed like we'd be focusing more on the heroes. I don't know, it's kind of a vague thing. It's not like a storyline. It's not like a narrator came out and was like, and now we will be focusing on the heroes. It's just speculation, really. But it felt like we were going to move further away from the villains, but I don't completely trust my interpretation of that, the way the series has been progressing. But we'll see. I'll watch the episode and we'll see, and yeah, it'll be good to know if the series can rise to the level I think it can rise to, because it's been pretty average so far. Pretty average series, so we'll see if it gets better.